Hello, in Mark's Gospel today, in chapter 10, verses 35 to 45. Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus. "Teacher," they said, "there is something we want you to do for us." "What is it?" Jesus asked them. They answered, "When you sit on your throne in your glorious kingdom, we want you to let us sit with you, one at your right and one at your left." Jesus said to them, "You don't know what you are asking for. Can you drink the cup of suffering that I must drink? Can you be baptized in the way I must be baptized?" "We can," they answered. Jesus said to them, "You will indeed drink the cup that I must drink and be baptized in the way I must be baptized. But I do not have the right to choose who will sit at my right and my left. It is God who will give these places to those for whom he has prepared them." When the other 10 disciples heard about it, they became angry with James and John. So Jesus called them all together to him and said, "You know that men who are considered rulers of the heathen have power over them, and the leaders have complete authority. This, however, is not the way it is among you. If one of you wants to be great, he must be the servant of the rest. And if one of you wants to be first, he must be the slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served. He came to serve and to give his life to redeem many people." So one of those passages, isn't it, where the great inversion of the world that Jesus's ministry represents isn't quite understood by those who are close to him. We're at such a critical point here, aren't we? We're on the way to Jerusalem. Just prior to this, Jesus has spoken about his death. And James and John, I suppose they see maybe some sort of potential opportunity for themselves to ride on Jesus' coattails, if you were, to have a piece of the action as Jesus reaches this critical point. "There is something we want you to do for us," they say. And they want a place by his side, don't they? When you sit on your throne in the glorious kingdom, we want you to let us sit with you, one at your right and one at your left. So they, James and John, want a share of the glory, don't they? They want to be closely associated with Jesus in this context. And I suppose they haven't really, have they? Don't seem to have quite caught on to what Jesus' death is about and what it's for. And Jesus tries to explain to them that greatness, if you like, is not about power. And that indeed it's God who will determine who sits on his right and his left. It is God who will give these places to those for whom he has prepared them, Jesus says. But it's not about glory, is it? That's the way of the world, power. That's what Jesus is saying. That's what his death is about. It's the whole inversion of that, isn't it? And it's people who seek power and position and authority who Jesus is set against. He says to them, "You know that the men who are considered rulers of the heathen have power over them, and the leaders have complete authority. This, however, is not the way it is among you. If one of you wants to be great, he must be the servant of the rest." If one of you wants to be first, he must be the slave of all. So there we are, James and John getting the wrong end of the stick, really. And it's just, I always quite like it, it's quite funny in a way, that the other disciples, when they became aware that James and John were trying to jockey him for position here and getting themselves some sort of representation and position, they became angry with James and John. They thought, hang on a minute, what are they trying to do here? What about us? Because Jesus, as it says here, calls them all together. Imagine, can't you, bringing them all together and setting them straight? For even the Son of Man did not come to be served. He came to serve and to give his life to redeem many people. So, that inversion that we all need to understand, really. We can all be tempted, can't we, by jockeying for position, seeing an opportunity for ourselves to build position, power, maybe authority. And, we could maybe pray that we get the point that Jesus was trying to get across to the disciples here in the way we lead our lives and in determining the priorities and the things we set our hearts on and the goals that we set for ourselves here. Even the Son of Man did not come to be served. He came to serve. All right.